The state of Minnesota tonight is looking to sell off a portion of the boundary waters.
Yeah, the potential land sale involves about 80,000 acres. Take a look at this map of the BWCA. Those small purple squares are owned by the state and technically under DNR control. Well, the state now wants to sell those plots to the U.S. Forest Service.
Northern News Now's Cara Kopp takes a look at how the proposed sale is part of an effort to boost the state's education system and why not everyone's on board.
The BWCA, a beloved million acres of woods, water, and wildlife. Most of it managed by the U.S. Forest Service, but some by the state of Minnesota.
There were sections 16 and 36 set aside for Minnesota when it became a state.
Aaron Vandelin works for the state and says those sections are called school trust lands, land set aside to generate income for Minnesota's public schools when private industry utilizes its natural resources.
We make money holding the land and managing it for its natural resource values. Timber, gravel, minerals.
However, there is no logging or mining in the BWCA.
We haven't got a dime out of the boundary waters since '64.
That's why the state is offering to sell 80,000 acres of school trust land in the wilderness to the Forest Service, who would pay for it through federal land water conservation funds. It would provide a large one-time boost for Minnesota schools, but not everyone at the Capitol is on board.
They think the money is the way to go.
Ely Representative Roger Scraba is one of 5 Republican lawmakers who sent this letter to the DNR's commissioner, stating they have 2 issues with the sale. The first, they believe a one-time sale of the land is fiscally unsound.
There's 5 counties right now that supply a majority of that school trust money, the recurring money. And those 5 are who I represent.
Scraba saying he'd rather see the land exchanged so there could be a source of long-term school funding. Second, he says the DNR doesn't have the authority to complete this purchase without legislative approval.
And the state constitution is real clear about selling school trust land. It has to be done with the okay of the legislature.
Despite pushback, the DNR is working to appraise the 80,000 acres. Once that number is in, they will bring it to the Forest Service with the goal of having the purchase completed by the end of 2026. In the BWCA, Cara Kopp, Northern News Now.
The DNR and Forest Service are hosting public comment meeting on the proposed sale through September 3rd. Several meetings. Find out when and where those are going to be at northernnewsnow.com.
Oh, the bell